Charlie Kirk, who they repeatedly described as far right, the founder of the right-wing conspiracy theory factory, Turning Point USA, is, quote, more irritating than most, and asked its audience if they were, quote, interested in punishing Kirk for years of regressive rhetoric with a curse, with a hex on him.
Now, Megyn Kelly reported this on September 23rd, 2025, a little less than 2 weeks after Charlie was killed. Her source for this report? Erica Kirk. And how do we know? Let's take a listen to how Megyn was made aware of what happened.
I learned when I was out in Arizona last week that 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the far-left website Jezebel declared that it had a mission to cast bad luck or a curse on Charlie. They wanted to hurt him in some way. They declared, quote, if the far-right misogynist with a bad haircut wants to villainize independent women, Jezebel is more than happy to be the hag of his nightmares. And they went on to the website Etsy, yes, Etsy, to, quote, cast a curse on him. Yes, this is actually a thing. Etsy, the website known for making arts and crafts on demand, will happily cast a hex through its witches, who you can hire, on someone if you ask them to. The Jezebel crew was delighted to discover, quote, it's not uncommon for the so-called witches on Etsy to channel their energy toward thwarting Republicans. There's even a subreddit devoted to casting nightly hexes on Trump. Jezebel decided Charlie Kirk, who they repeatedly described as far right, the founder of the right-wing conspiracy theory factory, Turning Point USA, is, quote, more irritating than most, and asked its audience if they were, quote, interested in punishing Kirk for years of regressive rhetoric with a curse, with a hex on him. After all, they told readers, he's basically a fake news vending machine. The article notably does not list the name of any particular author, but simply uses its company name as the byline. So we don't know exactly which writer or staffer at Jezebel, which has long been a disgusting publication, came up with the idea. But since they're attributing it to all of them, so will we in terms of our blame. It was, in fact, the brainchild of one writer, however, because it is written in the first person, a female.
All right, so Megyn is reporting on this after spending time in Arizona. So it's safe to assume that she was spending time with Erica Kirk. And we know that Megyn Kelly was back channeling with Erica to set up the meeting with Candace Owens. Megyn also, in this next clip, is about to report on the night before and specifically talks about Erica's perspective on this from the night before. First, though, I want to show you this from the article. It's pretty ominous. So this is the Jezebel article right here. And the first part just provides the background as to why they wanted to cast a curse on Charlie. They hated him, blah, blah, blah. She talks about how she got the curse done perfectly to align with the August new moon. This is what the author of the article states. She's the one that got the curse done. She mentions the next day being August 24th, I believe. So August 20-something is when we are talking about this witch getting this person getting the curse, and then the witch says that the results would happen in 2 to 3 weeks. Here's where it gets strange. The writer, who we do not know, but Candace might, as you're about to see, says that she was watching and waiting and then received good news about her curse going into effect, citing a news article, which you can see right here from ABC4, about Utah State and Utah Valley Universities petitioning to bar Charlie Kirk. Okay? You can see that right there. That's that article. So she is all hopeful that something happens here at these universities. Okay? So then she then goes on, and then this is how the article finishes. In witches we trust. Okay? And remember, this is on September 8th. It reads, so did my Etsy curses work? Time will tell. The forces move in mysterious ways. As the priestess reminded me, spell work is a collaboration between the caster, the client, and the universe itself. For now, we can only trust in the timing of the great unknown. A special thank you to the witches of the modern, I don't even know what that says, who work tirelessly to hex Republicans and topple conservative regimes and the occasional ex-boyfriend. Your work is appreciated. And to you, this is how this finishes. And to you, Mr. Kirk, may the rash come swiftly. That's on September 8th. Okay. Now here is Megyn describing what Erica Kirk told her about this article.
This is what I really want you all and the people at Jezebel and Etsy to know. Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses, and that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on this subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up. So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered. She eventually worked it through, and so did Charlie. That, as she later told me, weapons will form but not prosper. That Satan and those witches have no power. Of course, God's will is the one that matters, and his blessing over Charlie was real and palpable. All you had to do was spend time with Charlie to know that. But why torture a family like this? A Christian, believing family. Why do this vile thing to a young couple, parents to two babies, living in accordance with the gospel, deeply in love, yes, political, but doing nothing other than speaking publicly about their views and their desires to make other people's lives better? Who would do such a vile thing?
Okay. So Erica is the one who tipped Megyn Kelly off on the article written by Jezebel. Megyn was with Erica prior to this, as you just heard right there. Come back, and she then came back to report the story on her show. Remember, that's on September 23rd, 2025. The Charlie Kirk Memorial was on September 21st. That's why Megyn Kelly was out there in Arizona.